Duramax Diesel Spring Nationals presented by Valco Products in Waupun, Wisconsin, to feature the best, the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series. And what we're going to feature this week's a little different. We're going to feature a very unique class, the K&N Unlimited Super Stocks. They're kind of known as the funny tractors in the sport. Alcohol belching tractors making in excess of 5,000 horsepower. If you like Cases, you like Fords, you like John Deeres, you like all the different brands, they're all here in the K&N Unlimited Super Stocks. And then we're going to take a look at the best of the Badger State Pro Stock pullers. If you like the diesels, if you like seeing the smoke fill up the sky, well, you're going to love what's coming up next on the Outdoor Channel. Now, I'm here in the staging area with one of the top K&N Unlimited Superstock tractors. That's the tractor of B.J. Marino, just finished fourth a few weeks ago in Mercer, Pennsylvania. And one of the unique things about the sport of pulling is the fact that air pressure is so important on the tires. If you notice the hose going out of the tire, it actually is connected to not an air pump, but to the other side of the tractor into the other tire. That way they can balance the air and have identical tire and air pressure weight on each tire, because traction is the name of the game if you're going to drag 60,000 pounds down a clay track. If you like a lot of high horsepower excitement, if you like doing it in the dirt, the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series is coming up next on the Outdoor Channel.
I'm Rick Carlson. Joining me in the booth, Tom McConnell. Brett Kepner is pit side in the first of our K&N Unlimited Superstock. This is Sid Broughton, the return of the Desperado.
One of the top pullers from the Empire State Pullers, a region on the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series. Also one of the top 10 pullers on the Lucas Oil Grand American, and he will set the mark to beat. Wow! 295.04. That was an awesome run.
Well, Brett is going to talk to Sid and find out, is that 295 the best we're going to see this evening?
All right, Sid, only you can answer the question. Is this the hardest hooking track you've been on recently?
It's the best track I've been on this year, that's for sure.
It's unbelievable. I would imagine that you came out knowing that you were probably going to be able to apply a lot more power, but did you give it enough, or was it too little?
Well, I might have been better off pushing a little harder, I think, waiting for it a little longer and getting some more RPMs off the line, because it pulled hard.
How many tracks are there that you could actually say, I should have given it more power in an unlimited Superstocker?
Not too many. This is one of the best I've been on in a long time.
Well, 295, are you going to take it or give it up?
Well, I pretty much got to take it unless they change the sled.
Brian Newman coming out next, and let's see if he learned anything from watching Sid Broughton.
Listen to the growl of this motor having problems. Flames on the big Perkins V8 Massey Ferguson inside. Look at the fire coming out. Oh, man, Newman having problems.
All is not right there. We hear whining, we hear popping and flames, and not a good thing. Well, now it's Joe Kwiatkowski taking care of business.
John Deere fans are going to love this tractor. Kwiatkowski, number 2 on the Lucas Oil points last year, going for a championship title this year. He's got to beat 295 set by Sid Broughton. Front end not coming up, but he gets the job done. Wow, lays rubber. Hey, thought he was at a drag race. We got to check that out with the Lucas Oil replay. What was going on, Rick? He's spinning the tires over 150 miles an hour. He overspun them and actually laid rubber down.
That was a great run.
Well, I dare say the John Deere fans are going crazy, but I have to ask you, this may seem like a really weird question, but is that possibly the fastest speed in miles per hour you've ever been going in this tractor?
It's one of the fastest. It's
when they hook, they tend to go fast.
Yep, it's a good, super good track here, and there's a lot of good tractors out there, yeah, but I think that run will be hard to beat.
I wish you could have seen the flagman running backwards trying to stay in your view. It was unbelievable. 304 feet leader.
Thank you.
On the Georgia boot leaderboard, there it is, taking care of business, and he did. 304 feet. We'll be back to the Duramax Diesel Spring Nationals. More K&N Unlimited Superstocks. Welcome back to the Duramax Diesel Spring Nationals, brought to you by Duramax Diesel, the most powerful diesel engine available in a heavy-duty pickup. And Jasper Engines and Transmissions, the nation's leader in remanufactured engines and transmissions. Well, still here in Waupun Community Center, and B.J. Marino, Show Me Showdown out of Macon Mo.
Oh, I just love the cackle of these inline six-cylinders in this K&N Unlimited class. Look at him, smoking the tires like a Lucas Oil funny car. Going down the track, he's actually overpowered the track, too much fuel, and he's out. 196.07. Marino having problems.
And now here's the Silver Bullet. We wonder at times what goes on down there at that track.
Wisconsin may be one of the most beautiful states in the Union, but it's also one of the last to escape the grasp of winter. As a matter of fact, even after Memorial Day, it's not unusual to find temperatures in the 40s. That's right. Believe it or not, the atmospheric conditions here are corrected to well below 1,000 feet below sea level. But on top of that, this could be one of the best hooking tracks in the history of ATPA competition. The dirt here at Waupun is unbelievably sticky, and it's not even that moist, but you can still mold it like modeling clay at any given point. So much so that drivers here say they've given this track as much power as they have, and it'll still take more. Now that means the Unlimited Super Stockers, one of the most spectacular classes in all of pulling, are going to be up against something they've had very rarely in the past, and that's a track that can take almost all of the power of the most brutal diesel engines known to man.
Well, you talk about the most brutal of diesel engines, that's the Silver Bullet of Jordan Lustig.
And it's a Caterpillar V8, but it no longer is using diesel.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's right. It's a total alcohol burner, and look at him smoking the tires. They're putting all the power they can in the ground. Wow, look at the smoke on it. 274 will not get the job done.
Here on the Lucas Oil replay, let's watch those back tires. They start smoking there, and it never goes away. He is spinning the tires all the way down. Weight gets up on the sled, and it's over.
Yeah, the guys are just trying to compensate. They're putting all the power in it, and sometimes, as in this case, they just literally overpowered it.
Well, Jordan's going to have something to say.
I have to ask you, was that tire smoke all the way down?
Yeah, I'd have to say it was. The thing just, I don't know, with the dew setting or whatever, just never got a hold. We moved a couple 100 pounds back even from what we thought. And it was probably run up around 8,000. That had to be 100, 110 mile an hour wheel speed.
It's unbelievable. But like you said, you expected it to be the hardest hooking track you ever saw because it was for everybody else.
It did. It really did. Looking in earlier classes, looked really well. And watched a couple tractors before us. We noticed, they weren't picking the front end up. We moved a bunch of weight back, still wasn't enough. I don't know if dew setting or what, but we'll get them next time.
Unbelievable.
Well, constant aggravation, Mark Clifton, the green tractor. He got to watch all the others, see what it can do for him.
Oh, here he comes. The John Deere fans trying to make it 1 and 2. Of course, in the lead, Joe Kwiatkowski, who's got to feel good because the Bullet did not get him, and they are in a tight points race on the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series. But Mark Clifton, these atmospheric conditions we're in right now, Rick, it's really messing up the guys' combinations. We check out Marvin Mugler now doing the driving for Dwayne Schroeder, who's actually at a wedding. He sent the tractor all the way from Nebraska to here, and this John Deere is picking up speed. We could get somebody to get right in the hunt.
I don't think so. The weight comes up, and he smoked the tires 256 feet. Not good enough.
Well, I think it's so cold out here, it is changing the track conditions, and the track is just now getting hard as we check out one of Wisconsin's finest, the Midnight Massey of the Newman team. Brian Newman, wow, coming up way short. His other Massey had problems too. Not a good night for the local boys here on the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series.
That Georgia Boot leaderboard, Kwiatkowski still up on top over 300 feet. Nobody else going to catch him. The track with some teeth, well, it came out and bit a lot of competitors this time. Coming up next, more of the K&N Unlimited Super Stocks. Welcome back to the Waupun Community Center, Waupun, Wisconsin. The Duramax Diesel Spring Nationals, K&N Unlimited Super Stock tractors is what we're working on. We're sitting out there, a little bit of that track prep for the ATPA Lucas Oil Pulling Series. And now, best appearing, I bet we can find Brett Kepner with that good-looking tractor.
The ATPA's new unlimited superstock category, when it was debuted just a few years ago, made a lot of people believe it was probably the most entertaining new class of pulling competition to be out, well, in the last quarter century or so. And certainly the machines display one of the most unbelievable scenes of power you will ever witness. But don't think for a minute the unlimited superstocks aren't gorgeous looking machines either. Our Lucas Oil Best Appearing Vehicle Award is usually a pretty tough call, but when Dennis and Brent Payne show up with the color of money John Deere, every time they're pretty much of a contender. And I want to point out that while this color certainly is not exactly John Deere green, a lot of people think that you went to great expense to go find out exactly what color money is. Is that some super secret government ink you used?
No, it's whatever color you want it to be, I guess. So we chose this color here because it's awful pretty to us.
Yeah, well, you couldn't go too far from green, obviously.
No, you still got to kind of keep a similar color there so people kind of know what you're driving in there, what kind of a tractor it represents.
Now, I want to point out that along with the Best Appearing Vehicle, you could easily win the Jasper Engine's Best Engineered Vehicle Award, and for that matter, the Best Appearing Crew Award, if there was such a thing. You guys have gone all out this year.
Yeah, Phoenix Custom Apparel has helped us out with our crew uniforms and our fire suits and everything else, and we try to make our whole system a really professional atmosphere, you know, and our tractor it starts the first thing, you know, in our uniforms, and from there on out we just try to do the best we can.
Well, that kind of professionalism is sorely needed in virtually all motorsports, but I want to point out that one of the reasons this vehicle got the Best Appearing Award has a lot to do with the metal finishing for which you are directly responsible. I don't think I'm looking at any chrome plating there. I think that's all polished, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a stainless steel exhaust header there. That's the first one I ever built. We kind of was in a rush to get it done there before Louisville, Kentucky pull this year. So it's holding up for us so far, and we just like to polish it out there to make it look a little nicer, and just kind of helps us keep morale for the next event.
Yeah, as you can see, it's a real rush job, folks. I mean, geez, you'd think they'd spend a little bit of time on that. And the brushed cylinder head and valve cover and stuff, man, it's just, you know, stuff they did at the last minute. Yeah. If there were more vehicles like this, we'd be handing out Best Appearing Awards to every vehicle in competition. But right now, the color of money is indeed just that.
Well, color of money, gorgeous there. Let's see if it can be gorgeous going down this sticky track.
Oh, looking for his first ever Lucas Oil Grand American victory. Let's see if tonight can be his night. However, Kwiatkowski in the John Deere taking care of business, still looking good. And I'll tell you what, the color of money not getting a hold of the track either. The conditions are changing, and they're just smoking the tires. Look at the excess flame out here, and it's actually now 41 degrees. It is cold. Let's check this out again.
The Lucas Oil replay, it's hopping and bouncing. It's the first tractor we've seen that's really hopping up and down all the way.
But unfortunately, he can't maintain that front end up. And then at the end, kaboom, and I see fire underneath. That's not good.
Now, fire on both ends, not the thing that you need. Well, now it's going to be that. Minneapolis Moline, Kent Klemgaard, last dog.
Klemgaard, a hometown boy. The Molines are here with the Hull boys, and Klemgaard having problems too. Now remember, they're allowed to run up to 4 turbochargers, and anytime you start staging turbochargers on multi-staging systems, you have problems. And with the weather being so cold, they're usually used to running at 80-degree temperatures. They're running less than 40 now as it drops down to 39 degrees. So it could definitely have an impact on these machines. But Hull looking good, but right there, I think we got another victim of the temperature. 213.13, 213s, that's not good.
Joe, I know you're not the boastful type, but I dare say you proved a little bit more than most people have proven a polo there. You proved that you can tune for this air, that you can get it hooked up and get it to the finish line, and not one other tractor puller could do that in this class.
No, it worked out real good. The tires, the Firestone 2000 pullers worked real good for us. At 280, I could feel them just, you know, they hooked in better, and it was gaining speed. And I'd like to thank Lucas, Jasper, McCormick Tractors, Georgia Boots, and Sempico Oil, and some of our other sponsors, Fillmore Equipment, and local guys that help us out.
It was an awesome show, and I do mean awesome show. In these conditions, to watch this tractor do that, it was great.
Thank you.
Well, Georgia Boot leaderboard, and Joe Kwiatkowski taking care of business he did, and the track beat everybody else. Only one guy up on top, and great job. Coming up next, Duramax diesel row stock tractors. We're back with the Duramax Diesel Spring Nationals, brought to you by K&N Filters. Ask for them by name. And Georgia Boot on the job from dawn to dusk. The Duramax Diesel Pro Stocks. Greg Wildman, Die Hard 2. Tell us a little bit about these, Tom.
Single charger, 680 cubic inches. If it's a John Deere, it's got to run the motor that matches the sheet metal. And the first John Deere, one of the top pullers in the Badger State pullers up in this region, wow, has problems, but he will get to try it one more time.
He was less than 100 feet, so he stopped it there. He'll get to move down and repull later on. One of the ways that allows somebody to really check out the track. Now it's going to be Troy Bader, the No Fear Deer.
Listen to the RPMs on these machines, filling this area up with diesel smoke. No Fear Deer on his way to a very good run. A many-time Badger State regional champion here on the Lucas Oil Power Pulling Series, and Troy Bader sets the mark to beat 2:99.01. A great run.
On the Lucas Oil replay, we're going to watch. You see the diesel smoke coming out of the stacks. He's got the front end up, and the track is not biting him. He's able to bite back a little bit.
The Pro Stock's definitely able to hook into the track. Look at the lights underneath the sheet metal. He's got this baby dolled up.
I dare say after watching everybody out there trying to hook or hooking solid, the last thing you thought you were going to have to do is drive that thing at the finish line like that.
Well, I had to brake it a little bit there in the beginning, and I let her have her own way there at the end. She wanted to come to the right corner, and I just let her go. And
So you did have to touch the brake early in it.
Oh, early on I touched the brake, just right out of the hole, and straightened her up, and I let her do her own thing from there. And
You didn't want to touch it again and slow it down more.
no, not at all. And I was real happy with the run. It's been a while since this old girl ran like that, so I'm pretty tickled right now.
299 will lead it, obviously. Great job.
Thank you.
Duramax Diesel Pro Stocks. Now it's going to be Mike Shizek just blowing smoke. And we're going to find out if he was able to pick up anything. It looks like a lot more power than what we've seen on this track.
Oh, yeah, we're making a good pass, but the International having some problems right there. Just runs out of power. I think he was in a real high gear, and that's all she wrote.
Just blowing smoke, and that's all he was doing. Craig Wildman, Die Hard 2.
Well, he's back. He took his option and came right back on his way to a very good run. Now the John Deere's up and hooking, but you hear the RPMs going down. 236. This track is aggressive to these Pro Stocks.
Well, the track is really a tough one. Now we're going to go to Brett with our Best Engineered Award.
You know, the vehicles which you see compete in the Duramax Diesel Pro Stock category at ATPA events are quite deceiving. While they're required by rules to have basically stock body panels all the way around so that they accurately represent the tractor that they're supposed to, it's underneath those side panels that you'll find some of the most incredible technology in all of tractor pulling. And in this particular case, the aptly named Madness International 1066 series machine of John Roberts. There are a lot of people talking about this thing in the pits, and once the side panels came off, I have to admit that fuel system looks somewhat different than the other Internationals that we've seen in this class. What's new on this one?
Well, the Sigma pump body and basically the bigger intake and bigger injector lines.
Now, bigger injector lines and bigger intake means more stuff going into the cylinders. How big was this engine stock, or how big did the 1066 come with the engine?
414 cubic inches.
Okay, and how big is this one now?
This is 640.
So, bigger injector line and a bigger fuel pump are something you're going to need right off the bat. But how much have you stepped it up from, say, last season's competition?
Oh, they tell us somewhere around about 500 horse.
No kidding.
Yep.
Now,
That's what we've been told.
That's going to be a problem in the Pro Stock class because of the fact that you're not allowed to alter the chassis as much as, let's say, in the Unlimited class that a lot of people are used to seeing. And the tires are the big restriction in this class, too. So what do you do with the extra horsepower?
More weight up front.
Really?
Yep, get more leverage down on the tires.
No kidding. So that will enable a better balance to apply the power on at least good dirt.
It's all leverage.
Now, how do you approach a combination with 500 more horsepower than you're used to at the beginning of the season? In other words, are you pulling up to the starting line just kind of tenuously pulling it up and seeing how it feels, or are you going to let her eat?
Well, you always got to let her go. Just guess. Go by your old setup, add a little more, and hope you're guessed right.
That's what Pro Stock's all about, and as you're well aware, the competition is so incredibly close in this category. A matter of fractions of an inch usually determine the first couple of positions. You really much have to let it go at any given time. But remember one thing, with the tire limitations, the chassis limitations, and the stock appearing bodies, these things still represent the absolute pinnacle of current tractor technology.
We saw John Robertson. He said you just guess when you get the combination out here. Well, we're going to see how he just guesses on this track.
Oh, he is screaming that International. Listen to it. He is the last one in the class. He's got to beat the John Deeres. Can the Madness do it? Not going to get it done. Roberts comes up short, but man, an impressive run.
What a bizarre way to end it. But I'm telling you, if you were the one that figured out how to tune in this air and work on this track, then obviously you dominated the entire class because no one could figure it out.
Well, I don't know about that. You got to get lucky sometimes, but hey, the tractor just came to life tonight. It's been a long dry spell for us. We've had a tough go of it the last year and a half.
The Georgia Boot leaderboard, Troy Bader right there at 299, and the only one that figured out the track was that No Fear Deer. And the Jasper into the transmission hot pull, nobody else but Joe Kwiatkowski. That's it for this week. We'll see you again next time. I'm Rick Carlson for Tom McConnell and Brett Kepner.